Hello, everyone. Tonight we are gathered here to talk about something so deceptively simple, yet so crucial, that it could mean the difference between a long, healthy life and a sudden, tragic end. Picture this. The table is cleared, the last grains of rice are swept from your plate, and you're settling into that familiar post-meal haze. But what if I told you that the next 30 minutes are the most dangerous and the most golden of your entire day? You might not survive the next decade if you ignore what I'm about to share. I know, it sounds dramatic, but after more than half a century in the emergency room, I've seen too many lives upended by a single, innocent mistake made right after eating. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you truly enjoy what I do here. And while you're at it, let me know in the comments where you're watching from and what time it is in your corner of the world. I love seeing how far these stories travel. Now, turn off the lights, maybe turn on a fan for a soft noise, and let's begin our journey tonight. Let me take you back to a memory that still haunts me. It was a humid summer evening, the kind where the air feels thick enough to chew. An elderly gentleman, Mr. Hahn, had just finished dinner with his grandchildren. Laughter still echoed in the hallway as he excused himself, saying he needed a quick rest. 30 minutes later, he was rushed into my ER, his face ashen, his breathing shallow. Despite our best efforts, he never woke up. The cause? A simple, avoidable mistake made in those precious minutes after his meal. You see, the first half hour after eating is a time of immense vulnerability, especially for older adults. Your body is busy shuttling blood to your stomach, working overtime to digest that delicious meal. But this means less blood is available for your heart and brain. It's like hosting a party and sending all your security guards to the kitchen, leaving the rest of the house wide open to trouble. Here's a strange fact. In some cultures, it's considered good luck to nap immediately after eating. Yet, medical studies and decades of clinical experience suggest the opposite. The debate rages on in academic circles. Should we rest, walk, or simply sit still after a meal? There's no universal agreement, but my own experience and the stories of countless patients have convinced me that caution is the best policy. As we age, our bodies become less forgiving. The margin for error shrinks. A young person might bounce back from a post-meal mistake with nothing more than a stomachache. But for someone in their 70s or 80s, the consequences can be catastrophic. I've seen it too many times. A beloved grandmother, healthy and vibrant, suddenly struck down by a stroke or heart attack, all because of what she did or didn't do after eating. Let's not sugarcoat it. The world is full of advice, much of it conflicting. Some say a brisk walk is the secret to longevity. Others swear by a quick nap. But tonight, I want to cut through the noise and share what I've learned from 50 years on the front lines of medicine. I want to give you the tools to protect yourself and your family, to make sure that the faces you love don't become just another memory. And yes, I'll sprinkle in a few jokes along the way, because if we can't laugh at the absurdity of life, what's the point? For instance, Did you know that in ancient Rome, wealthy citizens would eat until they were full, then use a feather to make themselves vomit, just so they could eat more? Talk about missing the point of moderation. But back to our story. The golden 30 minutes after eating are your body's time to recover, to process, to heal. Ignore this window, and you risk everything. Respect it, and you might just add years, good years, to your life. So, as we move forward tonight, keep this image in your mind: the dinner table, the laughter, the quiet that follows. What you do next could be the most important decision you make all day. Let's talk about the three deadly mistakes, those seemingly harmless actions that, in my long career, have turned ordinary evenings into emergencies. I wish I could say these are rare, but the truth is, they happen every day, in every neighborhood, to people who never imagined they'd be the next cautionary tale. If you're listening with a full stomach, pay extra attention. This is where the story gets real. First, the most common and perhaps the most underestimated: lying down immediately after a meal. I know, I know. After a hearty dinner, the sofa calls your name like a siren. Just 5 minutes. You tell yourself, I'll close my eyes and let the food settle. But here's the catch. When you lie down, gravity stops helping your stomach keep its contents where they belong. Instead, stomach acid and partially digested food can creep up your esophagus, leading to heartburn, aspiration, and in severe cases, aspiration pneumonia. I once treated a spry old lady, Mrs. Park, who prided herself on her afternoon naps. One day, she lay down after lunch and woke up gasping, her lungs burning. She'd inhaled stomach acid, and it took weeks for her to recover. The wisdom here? Sometimes, the body's cravings are not to be trusted, especially when they whisper. Just lie down for a bit. Second, the hot bath. Now, I love a good soak as much as anyone, but timing is everything. After you eat, your body diverts blood to your digestive system. If you step into a steaming bath, your blood vessels dilate, and blood rushes to your skin to help cool you down. The result? Your heart and brain get even less blood than before. For most people, this just means a little dizziness. For others, especially those with high blood pressure or heart disease, it can mean a sudden drop in blood pressure, fainting, or even a stroke. I remember Mr. Lee, a retired school principal, who made a ritual of bathing after dinner. One winter night, he collapsed in the tub, his family finding him just in time. The debate among doctors is ongoing. Is a warm bath ever safe after eating? Some say yes. If you wait an hour, others, myself included, say why risk it? The bath will still be there later. Third, and perhaps the most counterintuitive, vigorous exercise. You might think, isn't exercise always good? Not right after a meal. When you exercise, your muscles demand more blood. But your digestive system is already hogging the supply. The result is a tug of war your heart can't win. I've seen fit. Active seniors collapse on hiking trails, their hearts overwhelmed by the double demand. One patient, Mr. Young, was a lifelong mountain climber. He believed a brisk walk after lunch would keep him young. One day, his heart gave out halfway up a hill. He survived, but his heart never fully recovered. The academic debate here is lively. Some studies suggest light movement aids digestion, but anything more than a gentle stroll is playing with fire. Here's a strange tidbit. In some parts of the world, people believe that eating and then immediately running a marathon is a sign of strength. I'd argue it's a sign of poor judgment. The body is not a machine. It needs time to shift gears. So, what's the wisdom of old age here? It's the realization that just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. The body, especially as it ages, becomes a delicate balance of competing needs. Ignore that balance, and you risk tipping into disaster. Let's pause for a moment and consider, why do we make these mistakes? Is it habit, ignorance, or just the relentless pace of modern life? Maybe it's all three. But tonight, you have the chance to break the cycle, to be the one in your family who says, let's wait a bit before we move, bathe, or nap. You might get some eye rolls, but you'll also get more birthdays, more laughter, more time. And if you're thinking, but I've always done it this way and I'm fine, remember, luck is not a strategy. The stories I've shared tonight are not outliers. They're warnings. The next time you finish a meal, resist the urge to flop onto the couch, jump into the tub, or dash out for a run. Instead, give your body the respect it deserves. Let it do its work in peace. And if you need a little motivation, just imagine me standing in your living room, wagging my finger and saying, "Don't make me come over there." Trust me, you don't want a surprise house call from an 88-year-old ER doctor. Now, let's slip beneath the surface and examine what's really happening inside your body after a meal, especially as the years stack up. The science of blood flow and aging is a story of shifting priorities, and your body is the ultimate multitasker, though not always a graceful one. Imagine your circulatory system as a bustling city at rush hour. After you eat, the traffic patterns change. Blood is rerouted from the outer districts, your brain, your muscles, even your heart, straight to the digestive core. It's as if the mayor declared, "Everyone, to the stomach. We've got a lasagna situation on our hands." This redistribution is perfectly normal, but it comes at a cost. For the young and healthy, the body compensates quickly. For the elderly, or anyone with underlying health issues, the system is less nimble. The result? A temporary shortage of blood and oxygen to vital organs. That's why some people feel lightheaded, sleepy, or even faint after eating. It's not just the turkey talking. It's physiology. Here's a strange but true fact. In the animal kingdom, some predators will gorge themselves and then become almost comatose, lying still for hours to digest. Crocodiles, for example, can barely move after a big meal. Humans, on the other hand, have jobs, families, and smartphones demanding their attention. We rarely give ourselves permission to rest, even when our bodies are begging for it. This brings us to a lively debate in the medical world. Should older adults eat smaller, more frequent meals to avoid these dramatic shifts in blood flow? Some experts argue that grazing throughout the day is easier on the system, while others maintain that traditional meal times are just fine, provided you respect the post-meal recovery period. There's no one-size-fits-all answer, but the consensus is clear. Listen to your body and don't ignore warning signs like dizziness, palpitations, or overwhelming fatigue. Let me share a bit of wisdom from my own aging process. I used to believe I was invincible, that a strong cup of coffee and a brisk walk could cure anything. But as the years went by, I noticed that my body's signals became more insistent. A heavy meal would leave me foggy, my heart pounding a little harder than before. It was humbling and a little annoying to realize that I needed to slow down. But in that slowing down, I found a new kind of strength, a respect for the rhythms of my own body. And here's something marginal, almost odd. There's a theory floating around that the food coma is an evolutionary adaptation, a way for our ancestors to stay put and avoid predators after a big meal. Whether or not that's true, it's a reminder that our bodies are shaped by forces we barely understand. So, what does all this mean for you? It means that after you eat, your body is engaged in a delicate balancing act. If you disrupt that balance by lying down, bathing, or exercising, you're asking for trouble. But if you honor it, if you give your body the time and space it needs, you're stacking the odds in your favor. Let's not forget the role of medication. Many older adults take pills for blood pressure, diabetes, or heart disease. The timing of these medications can interact with the post-meal blood flow changes, sometimes amplifying their effects. I once treated a gentleman who took his blood pressure medication right after dinner, only to find himself dizzy and disoriented. The lesson? Always check with your doctor about the best time to take your meds, and never assume that after meals means immediately after the last bite. Here's a little joke to lighten the mood. Why did the tomato turn red? Because it saw the salad dressing. But seriously, the point is that even the smallest changes, like the timing of a pill or the choice to sit instead of lie down, can have outsized effects on your health. The wisdom of old age is knowing when to act and when to wait. After a meal, waiting is often the wisest choice. Let your body do its work. Give your heart and brain a break. And if you feel the urge to do something, try a gentle activity. Read a book, chat with a friend, or simply watch the world go by from your favorite chair. There's an ongoing debate about the best way to support digestion in older adults. Some advocate for digestive teas, others for probiotics, and still others for nothing more than time and patience. My own view? There's no magic bullet. The best medicine is often the simplest. Rest, hydration, and a little common sense. So, as you sit there, perhaps feeling the gentle weight of your own dinner settling in, remember this. Your body is working hard for you. Give it the respect it deserves. And if anyone questions your new post-meal routine, just tell them you're following doctor's orders, mine, to be precise. Let's shift gears and talk about the power of simple habits, those small, almost invisible choices that, over time, build the foundation of a long and healthy life. If you've ever wondered whether changing just one or two things could really make a difference, let me assure you, it can. I've seen it happen, not just in my patients, but in my own family, my friends, and yes, even in myself. The trick is to choose habits that are so easy, so gentle, that you barely notice you're doing them, until one day you realize you feel better than you have in years. After a meal, the best thing you can do is to sit upright in a comfortable chair, feet flat on the floor, back straight but relaxed. This isn't just about posture. It's about giving your digestive system the space and support it needs to do its job. I remember my own grandmother, who lived to be 96, always insisting that we sit like royalty after dinner. She'd say, "If you slouch, your stomach will complain all night." And you know what? She was right. There's wisdom in those old sayings, even if they sound a bit dramatic. Here's a strange but true tidbit. In some traditional cultures, people would gather after meals, not just to talk, but to sing softly together. The gentle vibration of the voice, they believed, helped settle the food. While there's no hard science to back this up, I can tell you that the act of sitting together, sharing stories or laughter, is a powerful tonic for the body and soul. It's a habit worth reviving, even if you're just humming to yourself. Now, let's address a point of public debate. Should you drink water right after eating? Some experts say yes, others say no. My own experience suggests that sipping a small glass of lukewarm water about 10 minutes after a meal can aid digestion, especially for older adults. But avoid gulping down large amounts and steer clear of ice-cold drinks, which can shock the stomach and slow everything down. If you want to get fancy, try a cup of barley tea or mild ginger tea. Both are gentle on the system and have been used for centuries to soothe the gut. Another habit that's often overlooked: gentle conversation. I've noticed that families who linger at the table, talking and laughing, tend to have fewer digestive complaints. There's something about the rhythm of conversation, the act of listening and responding, that seems to help the body process food more smoothly. Maybe it's the slower pace. Maybe it's the joy of connection. Either way, it works. And if you live alone, don't let that stop you. Call a friend, write in a journal, or simply reflect on your day. The point is to stay present, to let your body and mind unwind together. Here's a bit of wisdom from my years in medicine. The people who live the longest are rarely the ones who chase the latest health fads. Instead, they're the ones who stick to simple routines, day in and day out. They eat at regular times. They rest after meals. They move their bodies gently, and they nurture their relationships. It's not glamorous, but it's effective. And now, for a little humor. Why did the Scarecrow win an award? Because he was outstanding in his field. Sometimes, the simplest things really are the best. Let's not forget the importance of movement, but only at the right time. About 30 minutes after eating, a slow, easy walk can do wonders for your digestion and your mood. Don't power walk. Don't jog. And for heaven's sake, don't try to break any records. Just stroll, breathe, and enjoy the world around you. I once had a patient, Mrs. Kim, who swore that her daily post-dinner walk was the secret to her good health. She'd walk around her garden, talking to her plants, and by the time she came back inside, she always felt lighter, both in body and spirit. There's an ongoing debate in the academic world about the best kind of post-meal activity. Some say stretching is ideal. Others recommend meditation. And a few even advocate for light housework. My advice? Do what feels good, as long as it's gentle and doesn't strain your body. The goal is to support digestion, not to distract from it. And here's a marginal fact. In Japan, some people practice shokuiku, or food education, which includes mindful eating and post-meal reflection as part of daily life. It's a reminder that health isn't just about what you eat, but how you live around your meals. So, as you finish your next meal, remember, sit tall, sip something warm, share a story, and when the time is right, take a gentle walk. These habits may seem small, but their impact is profound. Over time, they become the scaffolding that supports a vibrant, resilient old age. And if anyone asks why, you're suddenly so disciplined about your post-meal routine, just smile and say, I'm investing in my future, one habit at a time. Let's turn our attention to the question that lingers in every kitchen and dining room. How much should you eat? And what should you put on your plate? If you've ever found yourself staring at a heaping bowl of rice or a mountain of side dishes, wondering if you're overdoing it, you're not alone. The art of eating right is a dance between tradition, appetite, and the quiet signals your body sends. Yes. Signals that become more important with every passing year. In my decades as a physician, I've seen the consequences of both excess and deprivation. Too much food, especially in older adults, can lead to a cascade of problems: bloating, indigestion, dangerous spikes in blood sugar, and even pressure on the heart. Too little, and you risk malnutrition, weakness, and a loss of the very energy you need to enjoy life. The wisdom, as always, lies in the middle path. Here's a simple rule I've shared with countless patients. Let your hand be your guide. Serve yourself a portion of rice or bread no larger than your palm, and let your vegetables and protein fill the rest of your plate. If you're still hungry after finishing, wait 10 minutes before reaching for seconds. More often than not, you'll find that your hunger has faded, replaced by a gentle sense of satisfaction. It's a trick as old as time, but it works. Your body needs a moment to realize it's full. Now, let's talk about what should be on your plate. Half of every meal should be made up of vegetables and fruits, colorful, fresh, and as close to their natural state as possible. The other half should be divided between lean proteins like fish, tofu, or eggs, and whole grains. If you're used to white rice, try mixing in a little barley or brown rice. The extra fiber will help your digestion and keep your blood sugar steady. Here's a strange but fascinating fact. In some Mediterranean villages, people eat a handful of raw garlic with their meals, believing it keeps the heart strong and the mind sharp. While I can't promise you'll enjoy the taste or the breath that follows, There's some evidence that garlic does, in fact, support cardiovascular health. The point is, every culture has its own food wisdom, and it's worth exploring what works for you. Of course, there's an ongoing debate in nutrition science about the best diet for longevity. Some experts swear by plant-based eating, others by high-protein regimens, and still others by the so-called blue zone diets of the world's longest-lived people. My own view is simple. Eat a variety of foods, in moderation, and pay attention to how you feel. If a certain food leaves you sluggish or uncomfortable, cut back. If another gives you energy and clarity, make it a regular part of your routine. Let's not forget the importance of chewing. I know, it sounds almost comically basic, but chewing your food thoroughly, 20 times per bite, if you can manage it, gives your digestive system a head start. It also slows you down, making it easier to notice when you're full. I once had a patient, Mr. Choi, who struggled with indigestion for years. When he finally started chewing more slowly, his symptoms vanished. Sometimes, the simplest solutions are the most effective. Now, a word about post-meal drowsiness. If you find yourself nodding off after eating, it's a sign that you've probably eaten too much or chosen foods that are too heavy. Listen to your body. A little sleepiness is normal, but overwhelming fatigue is a red flag. Adjust your portions, lighten your meals, and see how you feel. Here's a bit of humor to lighten the mood. Why did the cookie go to the doctor? Because it felt crummy. But seriously, if you're feeling crummy after meals, it's time to rethink your approach. Another point of debate: should you take your medications with meals, before or after? The answer depends on the medication, your health conditions, and your doctor's advice. Some pills are best absorbed on an empty stomach, others with food. But one thing is clear: never assume that with meals means immediately after the last bite. Give your body a little time to start digesting before you add anything else to the mix. And here's a marginal fact. In some parts of the world, people finish their meals with a small piece of fruit or a cup of herbal tea, believing it seals the meal and aids digestion. Whether or not that's true, it's a lovely ritual, and one that can help you slow down and savor the moment. So, as you plan your next meal, remember, moderation, variety, and mindfulness are your best allies. Let your hand guide your portions. Fill your plate with color, chew slowly, and listen to your body's quiet wisdom. Over time, these habits will become second nature, and you'll find yourself feeling lighter, stronger, and more alive. And if anyone asks why you're suddenly so particular about your meals, just tell them you're following the advice of an old doctor who's seen it all and lived to tell the tale. Now, let's explore how the seasons and special circumstances shape the way we care for ourselves after a meal. If you've ever noticed that your body feels different in the heat of summer compared to the chill of winter, you're not imagining things. The environment around us, the company we keep, and even the places we eat all play a role in how our bodies respond to food and rest. Adapting your post-meal routine to these changing conditions is a subtle art, one that can make all the difference as you age. Let's start with the seasons. In the summer, the temptation is always there to blast the air conditioner or gulp down a glass of ice water right after eating. But here's the catch. Cold air and cold drinks can constrict your blood vessels and slow digestion, leaving you feeling bloated or uncomfortable. I once treated a woman who, every summer, would sit directly in front of her air conditioner after lunch. She thought it was harmless until she began experiencing stomach cramps and chills. The solution? After a meal, keep the air cool but indirect. Let the room be comfortable, but avoid sitting in a direct draft. If you're thirsty, reach for a glass of room temperature or slightly warm water. Your stomach will thank you. Winter brings its own challenges. The cold can cause your blood vessels to constrict, raising your blood pressure and making your heart work harder. If you rush outside into the cold right after eating, you're asking your body to juggle too many demands at once. I remember Mr. Song, who prided himself on his brisk walks, even in the snow. One winter, he finished a hearty lunch and immediately went out to shovel his driveway. He came back inside, pale and dizzy, his heart racing. The lesson? In winter, give yourself at least 30 minutes to rest indoors after eating. Sip a warm tea. Wrap yourself in a blanket and let your body adjust before facing the cold. Here's a strange but true tidbit. In some Scandinavian countries, people practice hygge, a kind of cozy contentment after meals. Especially in winter, they light candles, gather with friends, and savor the warmth. It's not just about comfort, it's a way to support the body's natural rhythms during the darkest months. Now, let's talk about eating out. Restaurant meals are often richer, saltier, and heavier than what you'd prepare at home. After a big meal out, resist the urge to collapse into bed or sink into a car seat for a long drive. Instead, take a gentle walk around the block, or spend a few minutes sitting upright and chatting with your companions. If you're taking medications, be especially mindful of timing. Rich foods can interact with certain drugs, amplifying their effects or causing unexpected side effects. When in doubt, ask your doctor or pharmacist for guidance. Living alone presents its own set of challenges and opportunities. Without the structure of family meals, it's easy to slip into habits that aren't always healthy. Eating in front of the TV, skipping meals, or lying down right after eating. But it's also a chance to create rituals that nourish both body and spirit. I once knew a widower, Mr. Lim, who made a point of calling his daughter every evening after dinner. They'd chat for 10 minutes, sharing stories and laughter. It became a lifeline for both of them, a way to stay connected and attentive to their own well-being. There's an ongoing debate in geriatric medicine about the best way to support older adults who live alone. Some advocate for community meal programs, others for technology that monitors health remotely. My own view is that nothing replaces human connection. If you live alone, make it a habit to reach out to someone after you eat, even if it's just a quick text or a wave to a neighbor. The act of connecting, however small, can be a powerful safeguard against loneliness and sudden health crises. Here's a marginal fact. In some cultures, it's customary to recite a short prayer or blessing after a meal, not just before. This moment of gratitude serves as a gentle pause, a way to mark the transition from eating to resting. Whether you're religious or not, the idea of pausing to reflect can help you tune in to your body's needs. And now, a little humor. Why did the skeleton go to the barbecue alone? Because he had nobody to go with him. But in all seriousness, don't let yourself become isolated. The rituals you create around meals, whether with family, friends, or even just yourself, are as important as the food you eat. So, as the seasons change and your circumstances shift, remember to adapt your post-meal routine. Keep the environment comfortable. Give your body time to adjust, and reach out to others whenever you can. These small adjustments, tailored to your life and your needs, will help you stay strong, resilient, and connected, no matter what the world throws your way. Let's settle into the gentle art of rest and recovery, a practice that is as much about honoring your body as it is about extending your years. If you've ever felt guilty for taking a break after a meal, let me be the first to absolve you. Rest is not laziness, it's wisdom. Especially as we age, the trick is to rest the right way, at the right time, and with the right intention. After a meal, your body is hard at work, quietly orchestrating a symphony of digestion, absorption, and renewal. The best thing you can do is to support this process by sitting upright in a comfortable chair. Feet planted, shoulders relaxed. This position allows your stomach and intestines to do their job without unnecessary pressure or kinks. I've seen patients transform their health simply by swapping out their post-meal slouch for a dignified, upright seat. It's a small change, but it sends a powerful message to your body. I'm here for you. Take your time. Here's a bit of wisdom from my own life. I used to rush through meals, eager to get back to work or chores. But as the years passed, I learned to savor the pause. Now, I treat the 30 minutes after eating as sacred, a time to breathe, reflect, and let my body catch up. It's a habit I wish I'd started sooner. Now, for something a little odd, in some parts of the world, people believe that writing poetry or practicing calligraphy after a meal helps settle the mind and the stomach. While there's no scientific proof, I can tell you that any mindful, creative activity can help shift your focus from the rush of daily life to the quiet work happening inside you. Try it. Write a few lines, doodle in a notebook, or simply gaze out the window. You might be surprised at how peaceful you feel. There's a lively debate among health professionals about the best post-meal activities. Some advocate for meditation, others for gentle stretching, and a few for light chores like washing dishes. My advice? Choose what feels restorative, not taxing. If you enjoy meditation, close your eyes and focus on your breath. If you prefer movement, try a few gentle stretches, raising your arms overhead, twisting your torso softly, or rolling your shoulders. The goal is to support digestion, not to distract or exhaust yourself. Let's not forget the value of a slow, mindful walk, 30 minutes after eating. Of course, this isn't about burning calories or breaking a sweat. It's about moving your body just enough to help things along. I once had a patient, Mrs. Yoon, who made a ritual of walking to her mailbox and back after dinner. It wasn't far, but it was enough to keep her joints limber and her spirits high. She'd wave to neighbors, admire the flowers, and return home feeling lighter in every sense. Here's a marginal fact. In some monastic traditions, monks are forbidden from lying down for a certain period after eating, believing it cultivates discipline and health. Whether or not you're a monk, the principle holds. Rest doesn't mean collapse. It means mindful, intentional relaxation. And now, a little joke to keep things light. Why did the banana go to the doctor? Because it wasn't peeling well. But truly, if you're not peeling well after meals, it's time to rethink your routine. Let's talk about screens. It's tempting to reach for your phone or turn on the TV after eating, but these activities can overstimulate your mind and distract you from your body's signals. Instead, try reading a book, listening to soft music, or even practicing a few minutes of gratitude. If you must use a screen, choose something calming, a nature documentary, perhaps, or a gentle podcast. There's an ongoing debate about the role of technology in post-meal rest. Some argue that digital devices can help us relax, while others warn of their potential to disrupt digestion and sleep. My own view: moderation is key. Use technology as a tool, not a crutch. Let your post-meal time be a sanctuary from the noise of the world. Finally, let's talk about self-care. The 30 minutes after a meal are a perfect opportunity to check in with yourself. How do you feel? Are you satisfied or still hungry? Is your body comfortable or tense? Use this time to notice, to adjust, and to care for yourself in small but meaningful ways. So, as you finish your next meal, remember, rest is not a luxury, but a necessity. Sit tall, breathe deeply, move gently, and let your body do its quiet work. Over time, these moments of mindful rest will become the foundation of your health and happiness. And if anyone teases you for being old-fashioned about your post-meal routine, just smile and say, "I'm not old-fashioned, I'm wise." As we come to the close of our journey tonight, I invite you to linger in this gentle space of reflection, a space where the lessons of a lifetime can settle, like tea leaves at the bottom of a cup. If you've made it this far, you already know that the secret to a long, healthy life isn't found in grand gestures or expensive treatments, but in the quiet, consistent rituals that shape each day. The final act, then, is to weave these lessons into the fabric of your life, letting them guide you softly, like a familiar melody. Let's revisit the wisdom we've gathered. The golden 30 minutes after a meal are not just a pause in your day. They are a sacred window, a time when your body asks for patience, respect, and a little kindness. Whether you're sitting upright in your favorite chair, sipping warm tea, or sharing a story with someone you love, you are giving your body the best possible chance to heal, to digest, and to renew itself. It's a small investment with enormous returns. Here's a piece of wisdom I've learned from my oldest patients. The people who age with grace are not those who chase every new health trend, but those who honor the rhythms of their own bodies. They know when to rest, when to move, when to eat, and when to simply be. They understand that health is not a destination, but a journey, one that unfolds in the quiet moments between the noise. Now, for something a little strange, in some remote villages, elders gather after meals to tell stories, not just for entertainment, but as a way to mark the passage of time and to remind each other of the value of patience. The stories are often meandering, filled with tangents and gentle humor, and no one is in a hurry to reach the end. There's a lesson in that, too. Sometimes, the best things in life are the ones that take their time. There's an ongoing debate in the world of longevity research about what matters most: diet, exercise, social connection, or genetics. The truth, I suspect, is that it's all of these, woven together by the thread of daily habit. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be consistent. Let's not forget the importance of gratitude. After your next meal, take a moment to thank your body for all it does, quietly and without complaint. Thank the hands that prepared your food, the friends or family who shared your table, and even the small aches and pains that remind you you're alive. Gratitude, like rest, is a form of nourishment. And now, a final joke to send you off with a smile. Why did the grape stop in the middle of the road? Because it ran out of juice. If you ever feel like you're running out of juice, remember that rest, laughter, and a little self-care can fill you up again. As you prepare to drift off tonight, let these lessons settle into your bones. The world will still be there in the morning, with all its demands and distractions. But for now, you have permission to rest, to breathe, and to trust in the quiet power of small, steady habits. So, as you turn off the lights and let the day slip away, know that you are not alone. Across the world, others are sharing this moment with you, each of us doing our best, one meal, one breath, one gentle pause at a time. As we draw this evening's journey to a close, let's allow the lessons to settle softly, like the last rays of sunlight slipping through a window at dusk. Tonight, we explored the quiet power of the 30 minutes after a meal, a time so often overlooked, yet so deeply influential on our health and well-being. We learned that the choices we make in this golden window, from how we sit to how we move, from the warmth of our tea to the company we keep, can shape not just our digestion, but the very quality of our years. We spoke of the three silent dangers: lying down, bathing in hot water, and vigorous exercise, each one a hidden risk, especially as we age. We discovered the science behind blood flow, the wisdom of moderation in eating, and the subtle art of adapting our routines to the changing seasons and circumstances of life. We found that rest is not a sign of weakness, but a gentle strength, and that the rituals we create, however small, are the true guardians of our health. Perhaps most importantly, we remembered that health is not a race, but a rhythm. It is the sum of our habits, our gratitude, and our willingness to listen to the quiet messages our bodies send. Whether you are surrounded by family or dining alone, whether you live in a bustling city or a quiet village, these lessons belong to you. They are yours to keep, to share, and to pass on. So, as you settle into the night, let your breath slow, your mind quiet, and your heart rest easy. You have done enough for today. Tomorrow will bring its own challenges and joys. But for now, you are exactly where you need to be, safe, cared for, and gently held by the wisdom of a lifetime. End of the script. Good night, all.